Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Deadpool here today. You know, the OG, the guy that Spider-Man based himself off of. Speaking of Spider-Man, I got Spider-Man right over here. How you doing, Spidey? We were here to record your movie. This is your special day, you know?
I'm cringing so hard, man. Like the actual relationship in the comment, I'm cringing so hard.
That's a pull for the peeps right there.
Feels like the full Dookie Super Saiyan Goku.
And absolutely dislike hard plastic capes.
Give me GT Goku, now give me my future, go on!
Like, I don't know.
Anyway, we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, I honestly love this film a lot. I've seen it 3 times, right? 3 times, and I honestly think like the more you watch it, the better it gets. We will talk about spoilers, just to give you a heads up, of course. But without any spoilers, I'm just gonna give like a quick, what are my thoughts about it? If you want to go see it, go see it. It's great. Tom Holland really embodies Spider-Man. The cast, the supporting cast is great. The music is great. The story. I have some issues with some of the characters, antagonists, but it totally doesn't make the movie bad.
I mean, even Spider-Man No Way Home had problems, but that was a fun movie. Especially.
But I think this movie's a lot better than No Way Home.
Absolutely, absolutely. This movie feels like a true pride and trope Spider-Man movie. It definitely has so much more authenticity that it's given this very. I'm gonna throw the accent away. This definitely gives the Tom Holland, solidifies him as Spider-Man much more, I believe, than all of the other movies have. I get way more of a sense of Spider-Man and Peter Parker vibe from him, which the movie, actually, to the credit of Tom Holland, he's a very good actor, but he never really got to show his nuance, how talented he is with acting. Here we get a far more grounded Spider-Man, where he's by himself, he's having to figure out problems, he's having to be independent, not so much get help from other people. He has to figure out everything, right? And as a result of this, he has a much bigger sense of maturity. You see him feeling actually holding on to the weight of all of his problems. Spider-Man is doing great. He's got the key to the city. He's got recognition. Everyone loves him, except for villains. But everyone loves him. But as a result of all of this cases, with him pouring so much into Spider-Man, Peter Parker is the one who's suffering. He's lonely. He has to stay secluded because he doesn't want to put his friends into danger. He feels as though if he was to tell them about who he was before the spell was to get cut away, it's gonna cause them to become at fault. Which, unironically, even though he didn't do that, they became in danger anyway. So, specifically MJ. Which, I mean, if you didn't hear the spoiler warning, I don't know what you're still doing here. That pissed you off.
Yeah. So.
First off, Matt, before we continue, let's take off these masks.
And we're back. So we did a quick change because we're not going to be dying in these jackets and masks all of the review. But we're in the spoilers section. Just to wrap up the non-spoiler section, go see the movie. I give this movie an 8 out of 10. But anyway, let's talk about spoilers. 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect movie, but there are some flaws, but I honestly enjoyed this a lot more than the previous Tom Holland movies. Now, one thing I just want to bring up real quick, since we're talking about spoilers, the Sony needs to calm down on their trailers and advertisements, because if you watch any of the trailers, you basically get spoiled about the whole movie except for 2 minor things, right? Definitely stay away from the trailers. Sony needs to fix their advertising because they just freaking spoil the whole movie. They showed the whole movie in the trailers. That's insane. But there are some hidden surprises along the way. So
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see that many differences when it came to how they promoted Spider-Man No Way Home. The thing is that they did keep a lot of the details behind the movies under the inclusion of Jean Grey, or the most of how the finale was supposed to I guess for me, I mean, my problem is that I didn't really focus as much when it came to the trailers and like and all of the details in there. Obviously, I did remember like like the one thing in the trailer where like this was like the key shot where he's fighting off the hand and and
Everyone thought like Daredevil or like someone's going to be with him, but he was just fighting the hand by himself.
yeah.
Um, bringing up Spider-Man fighting crime and ninjas, that is one of the gripes I have for this movie is that they mentioned Spider-Man has like brought down crime to a low. He's like defeated all these crime lords, and I'm just thinking to myself, wow, you guys, Sony didn't really communicate with Marvel, or there was no communication there because it's like, where was Daredevil? Where was Spider-Man and Daredevil? Like, I understand with the rights and everything, but like, they didn't have any explanation why he wasn't like in Daredevil or like when Sentry showed up in Thunderbolts or whatever. So they kind of just like, oh yeah, he was fighting criminals. Okay, cool. Could you bring up the things that he was not involved in New York? Like
I still need to
maybe
watch
just like
all of those things: Thunderbolts, Daredevil, Born Again, and all. So I'm
yeah.
I'm a bit like lost on some of that, but you know what? I'm sure there's a validity to it. I
I
feel
guess
bad.
it's not a big deal because it's like if you're just watching the Spider-Man films, just solely the films, it's like, oh, well, it's just Spider-Man and there's other heroes doing stuff. But then it's like Daredevil Reborn, well, I won't go into that's another topic for another day. But getting off track, there are some Easter eggs that does reference like things that happened in the past MCU. Like there is like a flyer in the alleyway where it says like Wilson Fisk for mayor or something like that. So there are like a little bit of connections here that still tie into the bigger universe, but it's still grounded and focuses more on Spider-Man. Like yes, Spider-Man like he interacts with like Dr. Banner, Yelena, of course the Punisher's in there, but they feel more organic compared to how it was before. Like it's not like Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. just taking, pausing the movie and just showing up and like, hey, everyone, it's Iron Man. Hey, look, it's Iron Man. I hated that so much. I'm so glad that they didn't reference Tony in this movie because it's like, okay, he's dead. He's gone. We've gone past that phase, right? We don't need to do the whole, oh, I remember when Mr. Stark. No, let's just focus on Peter. It's a Peter story, and I love it. And, you know, he he
Sh-
does get a little bit of help
Small
here and
shots
there.
at Far From Home, I see, but I approve of it.
Worst Spider-Man movie ever. I stick to that. But
Mm.
honestly, another gripe I just have with this movie is that it does sort of feel like a setup for a future project, and I'm referring to the reveal of the X-Men. Dun dun dun. The strong telepath redhead. Dun dun dun. Jean Grey. That was the most obvious
Mhm.
casting guess that people were just saying all over the internet like, oh yeah, she's playing Jean Grey, oh yeah,
Mhm.
100%. I was like, wow, you guys really nailed it. um
Which
but
is it's honestly surprising considering the fact that this being a Spider-Man movie, Jean Grey is just not on the radar when it comes to like who would be the villain there. But
yeah, like like there were like there's so many other options. Like unfortunately I blame Sony because they made their Spider-Man villains into solo movies like Craven and Morbius, so it's like, oh well, they did that, now they can't do that. um but there's still plenty of others like Hobgoblin, or you could do like Chameleon. Oh no, wait, he was in Craven. Oh God.
hmm,
But but
he
Spider-Man is
was.
like,
I need to
yeah, he
watch
was.
Craven, bro.
No, you do not. Do not watch Craven. It's a piece of
I need to
garbage.
watch Morbius.
No, you do not. Well, unless you want to laugh, then yeah, go ahead. But
I need to watch Venom: The Last Dance.
yeah. But no, I think what they did here was like a very ballsy move to, Jean Grey does serve a purpose in the story. She's kind of, well, a lot of characters in here are a reflection of what Peter could become. So like you have Dr. Banner and Hulk, letting the monster take over you. You have Punisher, the solo, being a solo superhero, isolation, not having anybody. And then, of course, you have Jean Grey, who's, what if you just turn your back and, because the world did so much damage to you, so much harm to you, taking away everything from you. What if you just finally said, I'm done being the hero. I'm seeking my own justice and becoming, more of a vigilante. So everyone serves their purpose in this. I can't hear that play. They're coming to get you. It's damage control.
Damage control. Which, okay, by the way, let me ask you this. When it comes specifically to damage control, was it that shocking that that they were the real, like, villains in this movie?
No.
Yeah.
Anyone who uses murderous cult magic undead ninjas in their organization, you're up to no good. And that should have been a red flag for Peter. Actually, he was kind of still like, okay.
I didn't necessarily think it was an entirely bad idea, just simply from what they were showing, because it kind of reminded me of Shield. Like Shield, certain sections of Shield, like the idea of taking villains and reforming them into something that's good is something that's introduced in many different superhero mediums.
I thought they were going to do like mind control, something like they were mind controlled or something like that. But I guess that would have been, I guess, too repetitive, because then Jean Grey takes control of them. It's like, okay, you got mind control on their mind control. So it's like, I understand why they just.
There's a lot. The thing is that there's a lot of things in superhero media lately where they reform the villains. Like a big one right now that was most recent one that people were talking about lately was Dispatch, which was, again, bunch of teams of villains now reformed to being heroes. Which you help lead them. And then another one was Invincible. A lot of the characters in Invincible were villains. Then they switched up, right? So there's different rules, and to be honest, when I saw like what was going on with damage control, in the back of my mind, like I knew that there was definitely some secrecy there. There was clearly some foreshadowing over stuff that they knew something more, right?
Yeah.
But what was funny about this is I saw someone talk about this. So one of the mysteries throughout the movie that was sprinkled was, what the hell is VMAX?
Yes.
And the funny thing is that people throughout the movie thought that dude was lying. He was telling the truth. He ain't got no clue what VMAX even is.
Yeah, so throughout the movie, Jean Grey is looking for something called VMAX, and we're all speculating, Spider-Man's trying to figure out what it is. Is it a weapon? Is it some kind of like government secrets or something like that? And at the end of the movie, when Jean Grey gets captured by damage control, she is being experimented on, and she looks up in her experiment cage, whatever, and she sees a vent, right? And it has a label that says VMAX. Now, why was she looking for VMAX? Well, it turns out Jean Grey has a sister, which I did not know that Jean Grey has a sister, and I looked it up. She does have a couple of sisters in the comics, but I don't think they have powers. So that was a new addition that they added in this movie, that she had a bit older sister that had similar powers to her. And when the damage control, they showed a flashback, damage control capturing her older sister. She was experimented on as well, and she actually died during the experiments. And her last thing that she saw was that air conditioning that had the label that was ripped off that said ventilation max, or something like that.
Yeah, it was
air vent max. That's what it said over like that, and it just said V max because it was like ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the last thing she thought of, and it transmitted to Jean Grey. So that was crazy. I actually like that reveal. Some people wanted it to be like Venom or something like that. I'm just like, guys, we need to calm down with including Venom in every story, because it does not work. Like, look at Spider-Man 2. They introduced Venom a little bit too early, and that thing was a rush piece of crap.
Spider-Man 2?
The game, the video game.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't even a good version of Venom, bro. Like I hated, like the fact is that Venom.
Venom story is overdone so much. I do not want Tom Holland to have the Venom arc, but he's no doubt he is going to get it, because
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars. That's probably going to happen and going to tie into Tom Hardy's symbiote that got left behind or something. So it isn't inevitable, but I like stories when we don't introduce the Venom symbiote because again, I know everyone loves Venom, everyone loves the Black Suit arc. It's like one of the best arcs, but like it's so overdone. There's other stories to tell, and I'm glad this movie took a risk because we did something different. Not only are we introducing the X-Men, we're setting it up that this is a brand new chapter in Spider-Man's life. He's more mature. He's again doing things solo. He's like, just taking like discovering things about himself. It's just a great chapter
It,
to
it
be
really
in.
was like a breath of fresh air because throughout most of the other Holland movies, it felt like they were still setting him up to be Spider-Man. It didn't
Yeah.
feel like we were actually like watching like Spider-Man because it's incomplete. He's incomplete. He's in development. Here,
Yeah.
he's finally a fully fledged Spider-Man. So I was so happy, seeing that, like, in this movie because we don't get enough of that. Like we didn't have enough of that.
I think the director Destin Daniel Cretton, who also made Shang-Chi, he did a phenomenal job with this. And honestly, again, I've been saying it a lot. John Watts was not the guy to be making those Spider-Man movies. And I don't like that John Watts and Kevin Feige are like, well, technically those 3 movies were the origin of Spider-Man. I'm like, if
It's
you
just a
gotta
waste of time.
dedicate, it's a waste of time. 3 movies to talk about great power comes with great responsibility. You're in the 3rd movie in, and you finally saying that. I feel like you misinterpret what Spider-Man is because like we should have had that in the first movie. And I know John Watt. Look, I'm not trying to like hammer on John Watts because I understand every director has their own vision. He wanted to go with kind of like a John Hughes 1980s teen comedy, but Spider-Man is so much more than that. And honestly, that was not my Spider-Man. It felt like Spider-Man Junior for kids or Iron Man Junior, as people like to joke.
Mm-hmm.
But it's great to finally get some, finally some more mature Spider-Man stories. And Tom Holland, props to him. This is his 4th Spider-Man solo movie and his like 8th appearance in the MCU. So like honestly, he did such a phenomenal job portraying a much older Peter Parker, much isolated Peter Parker, and a much older but still bringing that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And I love him and John Bernthal, their chemistry. Spider-Man, him just like, no, there's no killing. Do not kill this. Don't kill that person. John's like, let me tell you something. I love it. I feel like they did a great job at not making John Bernthal's Punisher too like censored. I feel like it was just enough where it's like, yeah, this feels like the Punisher. Some great moments between those characters. I love the moment between Dr. Banner and Peter Parker. I feel like that was a more genuine and felt more like what do you want to call it? It just felt more natural with that interaction between these 2 scientists, right? Like it was just so great to see like Peter Parker was talking about all this science stuff and you saw the smile on Bruce's face that he just saw
What is your name again?
like
What is your name again?
Oh yeah.
Because he was so impressed with Peter. Like it did like and frankly, from a storytelling perspective as well, Hulk is the perfect catalyst for what happens when you leave the monster contained for so long, which is what Peter was basically doing. He was like he was trying to fight the arachnid part of him. And that was causing, all of this conflict. He was denying certain aspects of his character, which was causing like all of that trauma and heartache to really start manifesting itself into the spider part of him really taking over. Right. And that was one of the fundamentals. See, when all of that, not only was it really cool to see Spider-Man sort of going through that, it's like a reverse of what we saw in Spider-Man 2 when the Raimi trilogy. In Raimi trilogy, when he was dealing with stress and not knowing how to handle his responsibilities, he lost his powers. But here, Tom, his powers manifests and becomes something that's like almost out of control for him. And that was actually I'm gonna outright say it. I like the way that this movie did it more than in Spider-Man 2. not to say I don't like, how Peter in the Raimi trilogy, right, sort of became more grounded in that movie. How he was in that sort of field where he was getting out of responsibility. But the actual part of Peter in Brand New Day, getting so angry he's out of control, and like him having anger which manifests itself, that also is very relatable to how people feel when they get really upset and they start becoming very sporadic. So Hulk being one of the characters that helps him figure out how to contain all of that in a very specific way, while at the end also showing us basically the best iteration of MCU Hulk we've ever seen. It was absolute movie chef's kiss. It was absolutely a brilliant idea having him involved in this movie. And it actually made it to where Smart Hulk was actually a more intimidating character. He was actually interesting to see. One of the issues with Smart Hulk throughout the MCU was that he felt like he was a joke. He wasn't to be taken seriously. Here, even though when we saw Smart Hulk, even though he was being controlled by Jean Grey, right? Like the entire idea and the concept of the demeanor that we saw from there showcased just how terrifying Smart Hulk can be if he was utilizing his intellect and rage at the same exact time without just being all goofy like he was in She-Hulk. And I actually really appreciated that.
Yeah.
So, and then I was like, oh, and he's like saying, he gets all, and I know we're jumping at different parts of the movie, but like he's getting all upset with Peter when like he goes back into his regular form. He's got nothing to contain. He's like, get out of the building, get out of the building. Like, I'm just like, oh, you like see that. The fear on his face for like him, not himself, but for everyone else, and him realizing that he's gonna he's gonna cause trouble for other people again. I'm just like, oh my god. And
I like that. I feel like that's Marvel's like so scared to tackle that dark side of the Hulk, where it's like Bruce he has a heart attack like when the Hulk comes out, because it's like no one can stop this monster, right? Like if this monster gets loose, it's good. He's gonna level this freaking city. Like he like like he mentioned in Marvel's Avengers, the first movie. He's like, oh, last time I was in New York, I broke Harlem. Going back to the Incredible Hulk, you see how much destruction that dude. I want another Hulk movie. Universal, what the hell are you doing?
Universal just wants the money, man. And frankly, it's so sad because at the point, because Universal's not doing anything with the rights, they're just blue balling Disney the whole time with them.
And unfortunately, Marvel and Disney have to do this sneaky thing. Was like, okay, if we're not gonna do a Hulk movie, we'll just have Hulk as like a side character, and I don't know, when this movie or the Avengers or Thor, whatever. It's just like I just want a Thor. I mean, not Thor. I want a Hulk movie. Just give me another Hulk movie. It's been too long.
It should be a movie that's dedicated. I think the problem is that every single time that Hulk is a side character, he's always the problem is that he's only really included in the Avengers, and then in Thor Ragnarok was the one exception. But the problem is that he's not really like the side character. He's not really a quote unquote side character, because the main character in all of he's always battling with somebody else. So in the Avengers, there's all of the other Avengers that he needs to focus, that they need to focus on more, right?
Yeah.
Or even in Ragnarok, Hulk is not the secondary character in that movie. It was Loki. And problem is too, with Ragnarok being somewhat of a comedy movie, you still didn't. I mean, you did get to explore some aspects of the psychology of the Hulk that was interesting to see on screen, but it didn't give us nearly as much depth as I think that, because he had more screen time in that movie. This movie, with the less amount of screen time, managed to get way more out of Hulk, in Brand New Day, in just a little bit of time that he had there.
The way they even made Hulk talk in Thor Ragnarok felt so dumb, because he's like, if you compare the two scenes where Hulk goes, "No banner, only Hulk," and then in this one where he goes, "No banner, no girl, only Hulk," and his eyes go green. I'm just like, oh shit! I'm like, that's my boy. He's back. That's the intimidating Hulk, not the big monster Hulk. I hate I'm trying not to talk about other movies about a movie about Spider-Man, but this movie, a movie about Spider-Man, did characters like Hulk and Punisher and everyone else so well. Because this is like the first movie where we actually got Fox, Marvel, Netflix, Universal characters, and Sony characters all in one movie. Think about that.
Bro, what was the name of the director again?
Daniel Destin, Daniel Dustin Cretton, I believe.
Bro,
Creston.
the amount of pressure that he had on him to have to like to be, because I believe the only other movie he did before this was Shang-Chi,
Yeah.
right? And that he had to like balance out all of these different rights and all of these different characters. He not only did he really like it was almost like it was I almost want to say it was a risk with having him as the director, considering his only one movie's worth of experience, but he nailed this so well. He's so good when it comes to grounding characters. I think Shang-Chi really did like showcase just how good he was when it came to
He
that.
also worked on the Wonder Man show that was sadly canceled. So I heard that was a good show, actually.
I didn't even know that was a thing, but damn.
Yeah, but yeah, he's on a roll, to be honest, and I hopefully he comes back for the next Spider-Man film. I know he is making the live action Naruto film. DC, that we'll talk about DC another day, because they need to get their priorities right. Because this movie made like over $1 billion in the box office in the first week too. Like, that's insane.
Bro.
That's insane.
Bro, my
This
mom wants to go
movie-
see this movie too. She ain't even caught up with this thing. That's how when my mom wants to go see an MCU movie, that's when you know this movie's doing good.
Yeah. And this movie was hard to get a time to watch it. Like, I was able to go see this movie the first time by myself, like on the day it opened, the 31st, and then I was able to see it Sunday with my dad. But dude, this movie sold out like crazy. I never seen a movie sell out that like tickets that like. I know you could like pre-order tickets in advance, but like it was crazy,
Bro,
man.
I have not seen. Okay, so when I went to go check movie times, the amount of movie times that I saw for this, granted, I haven't went to the theaters in a little bit, so my view of this might be a little bit skewed, but I have not seen the amount of screen times and opening available for as many as I have for this movie. I'm checking on AMC. They have a time for 8, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, 9, 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, 10, and then so every 15 minutes at the theater there is a new screening for Spider-Man taking place. It's like, oh my god, and somehow, some way, all of the seats are still taken, except for those other seats which are in the very, very front that no one wants to sit in, that some person on Twitter decided to like sit in, take a picture of it, and showed Hulk's deformed face up on the screen. It's so, bro, it's like, I've never seen it like that happen before. Like that was honestly great though. Like, the fact that Spider-Man is one of the things that brings people back to the MCU kind of shows the state of the MCU right now. They don't have as much direction. And frankly, it's such a shame, because I don't think Sony's obviously not going to give up the rights to Spider-Man anytime soon. But
oh yeah, after this, they'd be like, maybe we should rethink our decision.
yeah, but this, like, if of all the things, man, like, it just goes to show, like, right now, if Sony didn't have the rights to Spider-Man, then we wouldn't be having movies like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Granted, we also wouldn't be having like those stupid villain spin-off movies, which, you know, that's not a bad sort of idea. But also at the same time, if Disney had all of the rights, granted, I do think Spider-Man might have been like overused. Like, there would have been other issues with that, because I don't fully trust Disney like being in full ownership of Spider-Man. But like we're talking about earlier, it's very difficult to explain Spider-Man's lack of appearances in the other projects like Daredevil Born Again or the Thunderbolts, right? Like, which, granted, he should have been in the Thunderbolts, now thinking about it, because if that's like the new Avengers, Spidey needs to be a part of it, because bro was made an Avenger in Infinity War.
I don't know, but it's like, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with just focusing on Spider-Man. Small potatoes, as you says.
Small potato stuff.
The new Avengers focus on big potato stuff. Oh, what is that? Copyright issues with Sam? Like, what are you guys actually doing? There's no threat except for Doom, and honestly, I do not have any faith with the new Avenger team because you guys got like what? A couple assassins, some super soldiers, a guy with pigeon wings, and a god. And then meanwhile, Doctor Doom's got like magic powers and technology and sentinels and cosmic powers, and you guys are small potatoes. Yeah, let's talk about Jean. How do you feel about Jean? Do you feel like they made her a little too evil in this film? Like it felt like like I understand some versions Jean Grey has like a bad upbringing before she meets Charles Xavier, but she does some kind of fucked up shit in this movie.
So let me just say right off the bat, I love the mystery with her powers. I didn't actually know that she could like take over people's bodies and possess them in this sort of way. This was an entirely new thing to me. I'm still used to like how Jean is, where she's like how she is in Marvel Rivals. Throw fireballs and like say I am Phoenix and do all that fire stuff. Like I didn't even know that. And this is the problem with me, like not being as much of an X-Men guy, but I didn't know she had all these powers, so it was cool, right? I actually
that's her original power. She has she's a telepath like Xavier, and she's also has telekinesis, which she can move things with her mind. The Phoenix powers, that's a cosmic entity that she gets later on, and it's not something that stays with her, right? That's something that kind of takes over during a mission in space, So that's a whole like different thing, but everyone recognizes Jean Grey because of the Phoenix. Like that's like one of the biggest arcs in X-Men. It's like one of the best arcs, right? The Phoenix and Dark Phoenix saga. But her original abilities is telepathy and telekinesis. So those are her main powers.
Gotcha. Okay, so the telepathy though, it was really interesting to see how that was, being displayed. There wasn't any visual effects. It was just displayed with actors going in precise camera movement as they're moving like across the different hosts to take over. Which, granted, all these people, I bet you they must have been having all the time of their lives. All of these, none of these guys had any history with anything in the MCU before, as far as I know. So them being in the having the ability to just be able to act as Jean Grey without it in there before the reveal, all of these different cameos. I guess they're cameos. Yeah, like that must have been such a fun opportunity for all of these people. I would have liked to have been possessed by Jean Grey and play a role in that movie.
Ayo.
Hey.
That's a child.
Hey, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But
Sadie Sneak is like 21 years old, but I think Jean Grey in this is a little younger. Like I think she's 16 or something like that. So she's actually younger.
Hey, no one's thinking about this in that sort of weird way, bro. I don't know what you mean. No, but all seriousness though, like, she was terrifying, right?
Yeah.
It just the fact of the matter is that if you did not know who Jean Grey was, you would think that this person is just going to be completely irredeemable. The fact that she just manipulated.
They almost made her kind of almost irredeemable because when she's hopping into people's bodies,
borderline, yeah.
She basically puts them in situations where one guy, she's like trash talking to Peter, takes over one guy's body, backs up into traffic, and gets hit by a car. And it's an old dude too, so he might have died. I'm just saying, no, that was a little much.
Yeah,
like, holy crap.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then all of these people, think about it, right? They get arrested by the police for what they did. And they can't even explain. So all of these individuals have their lives ruined because they don't know how to explain that they got possessed.
Hulk's life is ruined. He goes full on Hulk mode and Bruce Banner's taken away to a psychiatric hospital.
Bro, that him at the psych ward would be such an interesting movie in and of itself.
Yeah.
That should be done. But the worst thing, it was not. I don't think this is the worst thing that she's done, but it's definitely the worst thing for the character and for the people watching. how she took over MJ and made it seem to Peter as if she remembered. That was just, when I saw that, I was just like, I believed it. We're just like Peter right there. This is the genius thing about it. Like, it's a piece of shit thing for the character to do, but from the perspective of the audience, this is like we're all in the same situation as Peter, where we genuinely believe that MJ remembers. So seeing that she doesn't really was one of the things that just you all of a sudden just felt everything that Peter felt in that moment. That was such a genius way of putting us in the shoes of Peter, seeing how much that Jean is just f***ing with this man. Like, oh my god. And then let me just say, the choreography in this movie, absolutely brilliant. Chef's kiss, because the moment in which she takes over MJ and she goes falling off the building, you get a reference to the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like the way that Peter's catching MJ, exactly, even the camera angle as he's holding on to her, like seeing if she's still alive. The like 1-to-1 shot reference to when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was holding on to Gwen Stacy, seeing if she's alive. I like, oh my god, I'm like, it's just like the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm seeing that in the theater. I'm like, oh my god. Like
there were some callbacks in this movie that reminded me of both the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, like the scene where he's like trying out with his new organic webs and he's going, web, go web. I'm
yeah, yeah. Which was funny because like this didn't work, so he has to say go, stop, which is kind of weird. Like he has to verbally, but then at the end of the movie, he clearly doesn't have to verbally say that anymore. He just is able to have control of it now. Which I
think was also referenced in a deleted scene where Tom's Peter was talking to Toby's Peter, and he's like, "What happens? Like, do you just like think web and then like web?" So I kind of wish they kept that in the last movie because I was kind of like, "Oh, that was a nice play on that that scene." But no, I like that Peter is like
that was in the extended version in the theater, right?
Was it the extended? I think so. Maybe
it might
you're
have
right.
been. I
Maybe
never saw it, but I'm sure it is.
Yeah, but no, honestly, that was funny when he was like testing the organic webbing and he's like pushing it out. He's like,
I'm thinking, did it actually like stink? Is the web stinky?
How would you like to see white goo coming out of your arm? Would that make you feel fine?
I can make so many jokes right there. I'm trying, like, listen, man, I can do it.
Yeah, but anyway, no, I'm kind of glad that that MJ did not figure out it was Peter as Spider-Man so early on in the movie, because I was groaning in my seat. I was like, "Oh my god, are you serious? She already found out." I'm glad it was Jean Grey the whole time, because it was also be a little like she even points out, "Oh, what? Love's true kiss undoes the spell." I'm just like, that's funny. I like that.
This kind of a throw at Disney, a little slight jab at him, which I like that. To
Now,
be fair, I will say this: when she actually does, like shifting the conversation over to MJ, when she does actually find out about this being Peter, right? This is where the movie, like, I didn't think about this, right? I see, when I was watching this movie, I was watching this with my friends, and we were at this theater, and my friend is like, during the scene, like as MJ's like sort of like talking to him, he's just like laughing. I'm just like, why are you laughing? What? I don't understand right now. Like, why? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? And then we're out of the
man's getting his heart broken, and you laughing.
And then we're outside of the movie theater, and then he explains it to me. He's like, okay, MJ over here is like thinking, man, how could you hide this from me? How could you just keep all of this to yourself and not tell me? Granted, I don't actually love you, or I don't know any of this type of stuff, but still. And then when he explained that to me, I'm just like, this fucking guy's right. Oh my god.
Like, what are you actually mad about?
Like, what is she mad about?
I guess it's more like, oh man, we had memories together, and you wrote this letter about how much you love me, but like I don't recall these like memories. It's like, I guess it would be a little creepy, and it's like also like, I guess you would feel like put off, and it's like, okay, well, I believe in anything, like, we have the Avengers and stuff like that, so maybe you're, what you're saying is true, but it's like,
I didn't feel sorry when it came to that situation. I really didn't catch on to how like silly that was originally until it was told, because I was still sort of in that position mentally, like stuck in the position of Peter. Like when she was saying that, like
I guess it's the part where she says, "How could you do this to me? It's not your decision to make." It's just like, you see in the letter, something bad was going to happen. If he didn't make everyone forget about Peter Parker, the war probably would have ended. So
the funny thing
I don't know.
is
It's like
that
it's not about you, MJ. It's not about you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not always about you.
But the funny thing is about it is that like it is actually unironically something that the old MJ would have done. Like she would have, and that goes to show like there's not really a lot of good like iterations like of MJ. It doesn't matter if it's Mary Jane or if it's Michelle Jones. Like there ain't no good live action MJ yet. Or actually, a lot of comic MJs are pretty bad too. Only one I can think of that might have been good was actually the one in Spectacular Spider-Man.
I also love that final moment where Peter goes up to Ned and they have that secret handshake that they always did in the past 3 movies. And it kind of triggered something in Ned. Now, it kind of left open-ended, but once they do that handshake thing, Ned goes to Peter and is like, "Peter." Like he realized like, "Oh, I know who you are now." So, do you think that's Ned getting his memories back? And do you think there's something in the spell where it's like, oh, after you do something like that, so like muscle memory that jogs it, or like why didn't MJ remember, or do you think she does
I
remember Loki?
I think okay, so there is it's a mix of multiple things. Number one, the fact that they had the handshake. Secondly,
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that Ned has incredible potential when it comes to the ability of magic usage. I think that in and of itself makes him to where he's a little bit more special in the fact that he's actually able to recover his memories. Because it's not just something that was going on in the movie. See, this was subtle foreshadowing when it came to that. So he was doing all of these Instagram reels, and MJ's like, "Who are you talking to?" He's like, "Well, I'm talking to someone. I don't know who I'm doing this for." And then she's like, "All right, bye, someone." So it's kind of suggested that something deep inside of Ned, like he knew he was missing something. He knew something was missing. So he was subconsciously throughout like the 4 years that was going on trying to figure out what that was, and that was Peter. But MJ didn't have anything like that, because the problem is that after she just gave her answer to Peter, there was sort of like that awkward tension just lingering right there, making it to where she didn't really like the idea and opportunity for her to be able to remember anything was just closed off.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is that Peter actually broke his promise, because in No Way Home he promised MJ that he would go and find her right after. Like they would find each other, and they didn't.
Yeah, but he had a reason to break that promise because he was trying to protect her.
Sure, but at the same time, at the case where crime rate is low and Spider-Man has been like dealing with all of this stuff, it's like he's trying to protect them, but at the same time,
Well, I think MJ brings up that point too. It's like, well, obviously it's not working because I'm already in danger because, of course, the telepath got in your head and knows who to target. So it's like, yeah, there's an argument for both sides. I think neither party is like in the wrong, but there are arguments to be made for that. But it doesn't end up as like a sad ending. It's not like MJ. Like, of course, MJ says, "I don't love you," which does hurt. But hey, your girl might forget about you, but your homie doesn't. Bros before hoes. So anyway. Ned is as I said before, the CEO of Shex. But
Shex.
But no, honestly, I really do enjoy this movie. I think this is a step in the right direction. A brand new Spider-Man trilogy, a brand new day, a brand new pair of underpants, so you can watch the sun rise in New York, and Spider-Man can do his Spider-Man things. I love it. I love the Punisher in this. I'm glad that he has like a heart to heart with Spider-Man. I know some people are saying like, well, Punisher wouldn't do this in the comics. Well, the thing is with the Punisher, he does respect Peter, you know? He does respect like a few heroes. And when the Punisher accidentally shoots Spider-Man because he was going after Jean Grey,
By the way,
you could
I actually thought
yeah.
Spider-Man was gonna die there. I thought
That would be crazy.
but that's
like
because that Punisher unironically was one of the reasons why he died in the comics.
in the Ultimate Universe, yeah, he
Yeah.
died out, bleeding out, fighting the Sinister Six.
Saving out the when he after he took a bullet for Captain America.
But here's the thing, no. Now that they did this fake, the fake death scene or the fake off or whatever, I don't think they are gonna kill Tom Holland because it's like that would be kind of in poor taste to like kill Spider-Man for real and then introduce another Spider-Man. So I think what will happen is like a time skip or something in like the last movie or whatever, where we'll bring in like, I don't know, Miles Morales or Miguel O'Hara. We might do something like that. Actually, you know what? I would prefer a Miguel O'Hara. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Bro, you know
Like,
what?
dude, just a
Miguel
time
O'Hara,
jump.
I think would actually be a more interesting Spider-Man as if they were to have him be the successor of Tony, if they were to have him in the universe. But either way, that's a different discussion.
Yeah, no, that I would like to see another Spider-Man take up the mantle that's not Miles, because I feel like Miles is just everyone knows who he is, and we have the Spider-Verse movies, but I feel like they're gonna go in that direction, to be honest.
We
But
do have Nicolas Cage with Spider Noir, so I mean, I don't know what I would like to actually go and watch that. I don't know if they have any plans for him in the future, but regardless of what it is, I want to see that movie. I want to see that whole series in black and white. Excuse me, I almost said movie. But anyways, guys, let us know what your thoughts were for Spider-Man Brand New Day in the comment section, because man, this was a great movie. I think I have not talked to enough people about this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let us know what they are down comment section below. This has been Starblast Studios and Champ Animation, and I have organic webbing, so I don't need web shooters. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
be sure to subscribe and stay notified.
Later.